The tale of the black-eyed children, the knock at midnight. It always starts with a knock, faint, deliberate, echoing through the dead of night. You freeze, the weight of unease settling in your chest. Who could it be at this hour? The world outside is silent, but the knocking persists, soft yet unyielding, like an unseen hand testing your resolve. Against your better judgment, you rise and make your way to the door. Through the peephole, you see them. Two children, heads bowed, faces cloaked in shadow. They stand unervingly still, their presence unnatural, like actors waiting for their cue. As you open the door, a chill sweeps through the air. Something about them feels wrong. One speaks, their voice monotone and devoid of emotion. "We're lost," they say. "Can we come in?" The words are simple, yet they send shivers down your spine. Their speech is too rehearsed, too precise, as if it were learned but not understood. You hesitate, and that's when they look up. Your breath catches. Their eyes, void of sclera, iris, or pupil, are pools of inky blackness, cold and infinite, staring directly into your soul. The primal part of your brain screams at you to shut the door, to turn away, to run. But their gaze pins you in place, and for a moment, it feels as though they already own you. The silence stretches. The children say nothing more, but their presence grows heavier, suffocating. You realize they're waiting, for permission, for an invitation. A chill deeper than the night itself grips you as the realization dawns. Whatever they are, they cannot enter unless you allow them to. But the knock has been answered, and they are patient, a story rooted in fear. The origins of the black-eyed children legend trace back to the late 1990s, when journalist Brian Bethel recounted his unnerving encounter. Alone in his car one evening, Bethel was approached by two boys who asked for a ride. Their demeanor was unnaturally calm, their words overly formal, and their presence filled him with an inexplicable dread. When he finally noticed their pitch-black eyes, he fled, heart pounding, leaving them behind in the darkness. Since then, the stories have multiplied. The children appear on doorsteps, outside cars, and even at the edges of lonely country roads. Their requests are always the same. "Let us in. Help us. Give us permission." Yet every account is soaked in terror, as if their mere presence drains warmth from the air and hope from the soul. Those who encounter them speak of nightmares for weeks afterward, of paranoia that never quite fades. What are they? Spirits? Demons? Some suggest extraterrestrial origin, citing their emotionless speech and unsettling gaze. Others believe they are omens, harbingers of death or disaster. But one fact unites all accounts. No one knows what happens if you let them in. What lies behind those black eyes? The stories of the black-eyed children share a sinister rhythm, a pattern that repeats itself like a cursed melody. They always come at night, shrouded in silence, their pale faces illuminated by dim porch lights or moonlight through a car window. Their clothes are outdated, ill-fitting, like something scavenged from another time, and their words do not belong. Polite but detached, they ask for small favors, a ride, a phone call, a place to wait. Their requests are simple, but the air thickens with unease when they speak. Those who have encountered them often describe a visceral reaction, a deep, primal fear that defies logic. It is not the fear of danger or violence, but something far more existential, as if the very presence of these children threatens the fabric of reality itself. The stories rarely escalate, but they always leave an unanswered question lingering like the scent of smoke after a fire. What happens if you let them in? The forbidden invitation. One account, told in hushed whispers across online forums, speaks of a man who ignored his instincts. The knock came at 2 a.m., a soft rapping that pulled him from a restless sleep. He peered out and saw two children standing on his porch. They looked out of place, too pale, too still, but their voices were calm and pleading. "We need to use your phone," one of them said. "Please let us in." The man hesitated, but opened the door. As soon as they crossed the threshold, he felt it, an oppressive heaviness, as though the air itself had grown thicker. The children walked inside, their movements robotic and wrong. When he asked where they were from, they did not answer. Instead, they stared at him with those impossibly black eyes. And then, They smiled. What happened next remains unclear. The man's memory is fragmented, like a broken mirror. He woke hours later, slumped on his couch, the house eerily quiet. The children were gone, but his nose bled, and his body ached as though he had been in a fight. For weeks afterward, he was plagued by vivid nightmares of shadowy figures standing over him, whispering in a language he couldn't understand. His health deteriorated rapidly, and he passed away within months, his death attributed to natural causes. But those close to him claimed he was never the same after that night. Theories and unsettling patterns. Theories about the black-eyed children are as varied as they are disturbing. Some believe they are manifestations of malevolent spirits, entities that seek to feed on fear. Others suggest they are extraterrestrial in origin, their black eyes a marker of their otherworldly nature. A chilling fringe theory posits that they are harbingers of death, appearing to those who are marked by fate. Patterns emerge from the stories. They target those who are alone, vulnerable, or already teetering on the edge of fear. They never force their way in but rely on the victim's curiosity or misplaced kindness to grant them entry. This invitation seems to be a key element, as though some ancient law prevents them from crossing thresholds unbidden. The most terrifying possibility, however, is the idea that these children are neither spirits nor aliens, but something far more ancient. Some speculate they are remnants of forgotten entities that predate humanity, lingering in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to step into the light. A warning that lingers. The black-eyed children are more than an urban legend. They are a manifestation of humanity's deepest fears. They embody the terror of the unknown, the primal instinct to flee from something that defies natural order. Every story, every account, carries the same warning. Do not let them in. As you sit in the quiet of your home tonight, listening to the sounds of the world settling into darkness, remember this. If you hear a knock at your door and see two pale faces staring back at you, don't answer. Because once you invite them in, you may never truly be alone again. Theories of the black-eyed children, unraveling the shadows. The black-eyed children are shrouded in mystery, but their existence forces us to confront unsettling possibilities. Each theory offers a fragment of understanding while deepening the dread. These are not just stories of misremembered details or overactive imaginations. They are glimpses into something darker, something that hides just beyond the edge of comprehension. Demonic entities. Many believe the black-eyed children are manifestations of demonic forces. The request for an invitation mirrors classic folklore about vampires and demons, beings who cannot enter a home without explicit permission. This rule is said to be a safeguard for humans, a protection against malevolent entities that prey on the living. But once permission is granted, the protection vanishes, and the being is free to wreak havoc. The oppressive atmosphere that accompanies the children, the unnatural fear they inspire, and their black, soulless eyes all align with descriptions of demonic presences. Some victims of these encounters report experiencing poltergeist-like activity in their homes afterward. Objects moving on their own, disembodied whispers, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. Extraterrestrial origins. Another chilling theory suggests the black-eyed children are extraterrestrial beings, or perhaps hybrids, part human, part alien. Their black eyes are often compared to those of the classic gray aliens described in abduction stories. Their robotic speech and formal language seem disconnected from normal human behavior, as if they are mimicking us without truly understanding how we communicate. If they are extraterrestrial, their purpose is unclear. Are they scouts, studying human behavior? Are they warning us of impending doom? Or are they something far worse? Being sent to harvest something intangible, like our fear or energy? Interdimensional beings. Some theorists posit that the black-eyed children are interdimensional travelers, entities from a parallel reality that occasionally intersects with our own. This could explain their odd behavior and their need for permission to cross thresholds. It might not be a rule but a limitation of their ability to interact with our dimension. These encounters may not be accidental. Perhaps the children are testing the boundaries between worlds, searching for cracks in the fabric of reality. If this theory is true, their appearances could be a sign of something far greater, a weakening of the barriers that separate our reality from others. The harbingers of death. A particularly chilling theory is that the black-eyed children are harbingers of death, appearing to those who are close to tragedy or misfortune. Like the banshees of Irish folklore, they are not the cause of death but its messenger. Their visits often precede illness, accidents, or unexplained deaths, as if they mark their victims for the forces that follow. This theory aligns with accounts of victims who suffer ill health, nightmares, and paranoia after an encounter. The children seem to leave behind a residue of despair, a shadow that clings to their victims long after they vanish. Psychological manipulators. For those seeking a more grounded explanation, the black-eyed children could be master manipulators, using psychological tactics to induce fear. Their monotone voices, unnatural behavior, and piercing stares trigger deep-seated instincts of danger and unease. If they are not supernatural, they could be part of some bizarre social experiment, or even a cult. But this explanation fails to account for the overwhelming consistency of encounters worldwide, or the fact that these beings often disappear without a trace. How could so many similar stories emerge, across cultures and decades, without a shared, terrifying truth at their core? What do they want? The true nature of the black-eyed children remains unknown, but their intent seems clear. They seek entry. Whether into homes, cars, or personal lives, they are drawn to thresholds. Theories abound about why. Do they need to cross into our world to gain power? Are they feeding on the fear they instill? Or are they simply playing a long game, sowing seeds of terror until the time is right to fully reveal themselves? One thing is certain, their presence is not benign. They are not lost children. They are something else entirely. Something that wears the mask of innocence to hide its true face. A growing phenomenon. What makes the black-eyed children so unnerving is their persistence. Stories of these encounters continue to grow, spreading across forums, news reports, and even first-hand interviews. They are no longer confined to urban legend. They have become a global phenomenon, a shared nightmare that refuses to fade. And perhaps that is their greatest power. The ability to make us question the boundaries of reality and the darkness that lurks just outside our door. The conclusion, a warning in the shadows. The black-eyed children are more than an urban legend. They are a phenomenon that taps into humanity's deepest fears. The fear of the unknown, the fear of losing control, and the fear that reality itself may not be as stable as we believe. Whether they are spirits, aliens, interdimensional beings, or figments of collective paranoia, their presence is a stark reminder of the thin line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Their consistency across accounts, always seeking permission, always exuding dread, points to a calculated purpose. They are patient, unrelenting, and disturbingly human in appearance, yet utterly alien in behavior. Their black, soulless eyes are a void, a reflection of something beyond comprehension, something that no one who has encountered them can forget. A final thought. As you sit alone tonight, consider the darkness outside your door. It is a barrier, a shield against the unknown. But barriers can be crossed. And if you hear a soft knock, if a voice asks for entry, remember, no matter how small or innocent the request may seem, the cost of opening that door could be far greater than you can imagine. Because once they are inside, the black-eyed children do not leave, and their gaze, cold and endless, will follow you forever.